we spent the most money on. So yeah, you could have saved yourself just over $1,000. We could have by not. So if we'd have done that every night,
just could have saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
What I'd probably say is the best thing to do, right, if it was in your budget, is to get a 4-wheel drive and invest in like a rooftop tent or something. I mean, how does that compare to your East Coast?
I booked through Welcome to Travel, who I was working for in Melbourne, and what I paid for all my tours, accommodation and bus pass was, the hostels on the West Coast just do not have that sort of thing. Ready? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Come here.
Little child.
Alright guys, we're just going to talk about why we've broken up.
This
is cringy.
Say it. Hi. Oh my god.
Fucking hell, what's he going for?
Oh my god, Barney. So this is the dog we're looking after. And he just got himself up on the table. It's Cavalier King Charles
This is where he
Spaniel.
jumps from the table and now he breaks his leg and
Oh.
takes him to the vet, which is probably shut.
Wow, you're an optimistic person, aren't you? I was so lucky to travel with you. I can't get this back on now.
So good.
His legs are freaking weak. Hi guys. We're in James's luxury villa that he lives in Perth. No, we're actually looking after this dog Barney right now.
Can't see him.
In Sorrento. He was actually just on my lap, but I had to come and turn. Barney!
He's not interested now.
He's going to come up at some point. So we are currently looking after a dog in Perth because I signed up to Mad Paws. That's a topic for another day.
A bit of extra money, eh?
Yes, to make up for how much we spent. So we're about to film a video to talk about how much we spent on our road trip. So if you've seen the video series, which will have come before this video, we travelled from Perth to Exmouth over 12 days. So we're looking at looking back at everything we spent, a breakdown of the cost of everything and how much a trip like that would cost you if you were to do a trip driving Perth to Exmouth. We spent 12 days travelling on the West Coast. But just to introduce ourselves first, I'm Vicky and this is my YouTube channel.
I'm James and this is not my YouTube channel.
Who spent our birthdays together travelling Western Australia. Well, we went from Perth, where James lives, to Exmouth.
And back.
Over a 12-day period. And we vlogged it all. So if you haven't seen any of the previous videos, go check them out. It was a really fun trip. It was amazing. All the activities we did, everything we saw was just insane. This was our first trip together that we did, because we met about 6 months ago. We met on our working holiday visa, so we're both from the UK and we're over here travelling. So this was like a nice chunk of time to travel, but you know, Australia's quite an expensive place to travel. So I was really curious to actually record how much we spent, which is the reason behind why we actually tracked everything we spent, because I'm also going to Asia. So I'm flying to Bali next Sunday, and then I'm going to Thailand and Vietnam as well. So I'm really curious to see how much like a week of traveling that place costs. But I reckon a month traveling like Vietnam will be the same as like 12 days traveling the West Coast like we did. So the West Coast trip that we did, that's only a third of the West Coast. So you've also got Perth to Esperance, which is like another chunk of it, and then you've got Perth to Exmouth, which is the middle chunk of it, and then you've got Exmouth to Broome and beyond to Darwin. But we just did the chunk from Perth to Exmouth. We used James's car, so actually that's like, transport is not part of the cost that, you know, you might find if you're renting a camper van or a car. Initially we did look at camper vans because James has got a 4-wheel drive, and that is great and one that you need if you're driving to some of the places we went, like the Kennedy Ranges. It's off-road, so you do need a 4-wheel drive to get to some of those more rugged places in the national parks.
I think the main road part, so you can do easy doing a 2-wheel drive. It's a lot of the roads where they do say if it's going to be a struggle, there'll be a sign, you know, 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, and that limits you to where you can go, but yeah, a lot of people can get by on a 2-wheel drive. So we camped for half the time in his car. So I think there were 6 nights in his car and 7 nights in motels and hotels. And one of the reasons we did that was because it's our birthdays and we thought we'd treat ourselves or treat each other. And you'll also see that reflected in the amount we spent on food as well. So to get to the point, we spent $5,067 on the entire trip, including transport, food, and all the other like bits and activities that we did. I will break that down. So we used an app called Wanderlog to put all the expenses, and it breaks down how much you spent on each category and by day how much you spent. So in this video we'll be able to tell you how much the 12-day road trip cost, how much petrol we used, the price of the activities, and to give you an idea of how much you might need if you're looking to do a road trip like this. Okay, first of all we'll address like how many days we spent travelling it. 12 days was like, so there's 10 days between my birthday on the 24th of August and James's birthday on the 3rd of September. So that was like a nice 10-day period, so we thought, okay, we'll go before our birthdays and after our birthdays, so we've got a nice chunk of time. That's why we kind of chose 12 days, plus with him working.
I didn't want to have too much time at work.
Yeah, so, but was it a good amount of time to spend travelling from Perth to Exmouth? We took our time going up, and then on the way back down, we had a 9-hour drive back down from Monkey Mire, and the drive from Exmouth to Monkey Mire, because Exmouth sort of we've been at the top, was 7 hours. So you know, you're looking at doing like a 12-hour journey from Exmouth to Perth if you're going to drive the whole thing, and we ended up doing that like at the end of the trip. Did we say everything we wanted to?
Yeah, I think it was a good amount of time.
Yeah,
like,
I do think we could have spent 2 full weeks. I think it was perfect, the trip as it was. We didn't really like Monkey Mire because there wasn't anything to do, so straight away like we may not have spent 2 nights in Monkey Mire, just a stopover visit, or maybe not even go in at all.
Yeah, but I guess you never know until you do it.
Yeah, like if you love dolphins, go to Monkey Mire. See my other video to see like the cool camping spots that we loved. So Lucky Bay and the Kennedy Ranges was camping spots that we loved. Coral Bay was just like it was called Bayview, and it was just like it felt like a chain campsite. It wasn't very interesting.
What, 2 campsites
very
in Coral Bay?
Yeah, so Coral Bay's tiny. So yeah, we spent 2 nights there. You don't really need it.
I did like it there though.
Yeah, I think the nights where we spent one night, I really appreciated those places we stayed because we enjoyed them, and there wasn't any like, oh, let's move on now.
Yeah, I think the ones like the rural ones as well, like because we were like off the grid, had no phone reception.
That was it.
Was just kind of living in that moment.
Yeah.
It was just like can't really do anything else.
Yeah, couldn't go on our
got
phones.
To talk to all night.
Yeah, we did spend time looking back at like our photos and stuff, and just like chatting, looking up at the stars and things like that, and getting early nights so we could wake up and, you know,
Do
get
the
up for sunrise. Yeah. Anyway, on to the topic of this video, which is how much we spent. $5,067, so like $2,500 each. The thing we spent the most money on was accommodation. So for 7 nights we spent $1,450. You can probably find cheaper places. We paid for our 1 night in Jurien Bay motel apartments, it was $190. That was for my birthday, so it was a nice treat, and we had not just a room but like a whole sofa area as well. Kalbarri, we had, so I looked online, it looked like it was just a double room and it was a shared bathroom. It actually was basically like a hostel, so Kalbarri Inn was $110 for a private room. Also Exmouth, we stayed in Ningaloo Caravan Resort, and we actually had cockroaches in our room on the first night, so I wrote them an email to say, is this you, like, do you usually get cockroaches up here? And they moved us and upgraded us to another room which had like, again, a kitchen and a bathroom with a bathtub and a jacuzzi, and everything was nice.
Chalet. And
we paid $400 for those 3 nights in Exmouth. Then we stayed 2 nights in Monkey Mire, and again that was for James's birthday, and it was $270 per night with the card fee, so that was pretty spenny.
It's quite like a beach view room kind of thing, isn't it? So there's definitely cheaper rooms.
Yeah.
Then also there's
that's the only place to stay.
Spots. If you're going to go there, you're going to stay there though, because like you go there for that and for the dolphins and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So how far was that town? Like 25-minute drive.
Denham.
Yeah. So there's campsites there for sure.
So $1,240 was on accommodation in.
Not in the car.
Yeah, not in the car. So we spent $210 on 6 nights of camping. Some of those were basically like almost like free camps, because we paid $15 for the one at Lucky Bay, and we paid $22, so it's per person. When you go to the Kennedy Ranges, there's a volunteer there, so he comes over and asks for the money. It's $11 per person, so that was pretty cheap. And the other ones were all an average of like $40 per night. So I think Coral Bay was 50. That was a bit on the pricey side, probably because there's not that many places to stay in Coral Bay, so that was $58 a night.
Yeah, for powered pitch.
Yeah, and we got powered campsites everywhere that we paid for in those sort of chainy sort of campsites. So the 2 nights in Coral Bay were $58. The first night was $46 for a powered campsite in Cervantes, RAC. So yeah, $210 for 6 nights. What's that? 210 divided by 6. So yeah, 35, an average of $35 per night for both of us. So if we'd have done that every night,
just could have saved a lot of money.
yeah, this would have been $385. So yeah, if you've got a car and you're sleeping in the back of it, or you've got a tent, then you can basically do what we did for like $385
I'm sure
for
you
your
can
lodging.
find a lot of free camping spots, like if you really want to budget it as well.
Yeah, there was a free camp in Geraldton.
And if,
when
you
we got
if
there,
you're not bothered about having power and stuff.
yeah, we went to Geraldton, which was before Lucky Bay, and we're so lucky that we moved on because Lucky Bay was so what?
I'm just trying to remember Geraldton.
Yeah, it was with the lighthouse. Geraldton was nice and sunny. That was the only thing that we really liked about the time.
It's like a city, isn't it, Geraldton?
Yeah.
There wasn't
How's the Hungry Jacks
too much that we wanted to do there anyway.
It was a free camp there that we were going to stay at, but we changed our minds and moved on, which I'm so glad we did because Lucky Bay was insane.
And that was literally, we found that on that day.
You did, yeah.
Just looking on Google
Your
Maps.
one time.
It was in the middle of nowhere, so there's anything I could spot on Google Maps.
Yeah, because we saw the Pink Lake, and then after the Pink Lake you drive for a little bit, like 20
I was
minutes,
just looking
and then
at
you find the
campsites
campsite.
near there and saw that.
Yeah, and
didn't really have much expectations.
No, and it's right near the beach, so you can also take your 4-wheel drive down to the beach as well. But we kind of just moved on, like after we woke up that day and cooked ourselves some eggs. We just moved on actually.
Some footage from the drone.
Yeah. So.
Should have gone down to that beach really.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I would have loved to stay at Lucky Bay another night, but having another night without phone reception and without power for like our cameras and stuff, I don't know, just. We only had 12 days anyway, but if you've got longer, you might want to stay longer at Lucky Bay because it's such a nice campsite. So yeah, you could have saved yourself just over $1,000. We could have by not staying in apartments and stuff. Next after accommodation was activities, and the main reason our activities were quite high in price was because we did diving. So you're on the coast, so a lot of the water sports you might do is water sports. Water sports.
A lot of the water sports you might do is water sports.
I can say that. Yeah. A lot of the activities you might do are water sports.
Water.
So we spent $1,210 on activities. That included the diving. So we could have been a bit more organised with it. We tried to go with Dive Ningaloo. So they have smaller groups. That I found this out. They have smaller groups that do the Dive Ningaloo. Was it what, like 14 people or something? So we tried to book with Dive Ningaloo because after I did a bit of research, we thought they were the best ones. So we booked with them, and then they actually contacted us to say, I think it was the 4th night when we were in Kalbarri, so like a few nights before, they were like, thanks for your booking last night. This tour is actually cancelled due to skipper availability, so we ended up having to be refunded and trying to book with the only other dive company in Exmouth, which is Dive Ningaloo and Whale Sharks or something like that. I can't even say the name. We ended up going with them, and we wanted to do the Ningaloo Reef tour that they all run to the Ningaloo Reef, which was also slightly cheaper with both tour companies, but we ended up having to book the Murin Islands tour. So if you've seen the vlogs, I didn't manage to actually properly dive. I got in the water, I went about a metre and then I chickened out. I was like, I can't do it, and just found out it wasn't for me. But James has his PADI licence, and you thought it was pretty good, but you didn't see many fish, you just saw a lot of coral.
No, there's a lot of fish down there. The second site, definitely less. What was it, the first site? No, I was still pretty pleased because I saw like a turtle and stuff, which I've not seen like when I've been diving. And just went through a lot of the coral, like the archways and stuff, which was pretty cool. So we both booked onto the Discover dive so we could do it together. Yeah. But then obviously because you didn't do it, I ended up just, because we had just one instructor with us, to try and get you in. So then I just went down with the instructor and then got some diving in once you were
Yeah.
out the water.
So the diving cost us $340, and
Each.
yeah, that was each as well. So that was a big chunk of our activity money, and it included all the stuff for diving and the instruction and the equipment, and lunch on board. But the lunch was pretty shit for me because I'm pescatarian, and they didn't have any alternative like falafels or anything for me. So they had like ham,
Yeah, they had loads of meat.
wraps and rolls, but I had a cheese roll.
And then it's had a bit of cheese.
I was on a strop anyway because I didn't dive, so I was just like, I'm going to just sit here with my cheese roll. But the lunch wasn't that great, but they had like fruit and snacks and stuff like that. But I don't expect much of tours in Australia. I went on a tour in the Philippines, and they like freshly prepared like a big fish for us all to share, and loads of like cut fruit in pretty shapes. And in Australia, just like give you like, I don't know, wraps and
Well, I think the first one we booked did say it was like a barbecue lunch.
sounds good. But yeah,
Obviously,
maybe go with
they
diving
cancelled
Ingaloo
us.
if you can, and then yeah, if not, you're gonna have to go with the other option. But anyway, that was $340 each. The other water sport we did was surfing, which cost $90 for a lesson, and we were the only people on the lesson, so it was like a private lesson, which is a bit more expensive than on the East Coast. You can get lessons for like $70, but yeah, it's $20 more expensive.
That was really good
Yeah, you enjoyed
because
it.
it was like 4 p.m. so then it kind of
It was a sunset
finished
surf.
with the sunset,
It's
and then
nice.
we're basically just on that beach on
Yeah.
our own, which is really good.
And then we did a sea lions tour as well, that James got me like for my birthday present, so that was $125 each. Also in Jurien Bay, we hired some bikes from adventure tours, and the bike hire was $20 each. So after accommodation and after activities, the next most expensive thing was eating out. And again, we definitely could have reduced this, but we were treating ourselves, so we
Holiday.
spent $1,130. Oh no, it was more like $1,000 because we ended up putting drinks in the same category. But anyway, it was about $1,000 for eating out. We ate out probably like on average like one meal a day at least. So food in Australia in general like isn't cheap, and you know when I'm in Thailand, I'm going to be able to get a pad thai for like $1. I remember vaguely like the first night we ate in Cervantes, and it was the only place open. Because we weren't very prepared. That was about $100. Then the next night at Jurien Bay, that was about $100 as well, not including the wine. Just to give you an idea, it's probably about $100 for two people eating out, and maybe with the beer or the cider included. But then, you know, in Coral Bay, we went to a restaurant in that place called Bill's, and we got like a deal which was like, it was $29 for fish and chips, and then you get cider with it for an extra $1. So yeah, it can be around $60 for a meal for two, but for like obviously for our birthdays we had like starters and mains. So yeah, that costs about $100. But anyway, I'll talk about a bit more when we come to groceries, because groceries is separate. But next after eating out was gas. So we spent $760 on fuel, which I don't really have a concept of fuel because I don't own a car and stuff, but we drove 4,000 kilometres, and 4,000 kilometres used up $760 of gas. I don't know if that's good or not. I have no sense of it.
Yes, we're not American.
Gas. Well, the app must be American because
Yeah.
it says gas.
No, I
not
think
fuel.
I
Petrol.
don't really know what I was
Diesel.
expecting to spend.
So you've got a diesel car,
Yeah, the diesel. Got a diesel car, so
and what's the engine? What's comparable for people? Like the engine, do you know the
what the
size of the
size?
engine? Yeah.
3 litre diesel, 4-wheel drive. But I mean, I can get a lot of kilometres out of the tank usually. So 1 kilometre costs us 19 cents.
Okay. Oh, and also there's like not really any other ways to get around. You can't like take Greyhound buses or anything to travel the West Coast, so it was important to have a vehicle.
See a few of those tours,
Yeah, there's tours that run,
like the
or
ones with the little buses and
then
got
there
their
was people
trailer.
we met on the Jurien Bay tour. They used Share Bus, which you can research it and you can join the group of people, and then you, as the group, decide where you want to go and how long you want to spend. And they can obviously provide itineraries, but that's a good way to meet people as well if you don't have like someone that you're doing the trip with. Because I will also say that I don't think it's the kind of trip you want to do solo, especially because it's so remote. You can do it on the east, use the Greyhound, meet loads of people, and there's a lot more backpackers, and there's a lot more built up. You know, you can get around solo, and all the hostels have nights and stuff on, but the hostels on the West Coast just do not have that sort of thing. They don't have like, it would have been odd to see them do a karaoke night, because there would have been nobody there. It would have been just us at the karaoke night, basically.
I think because I was in Kalbarri, it was like, oh yeah, this is actually a hostel. But it's like, I think the people that actually do go there are people generally doing their regional work and stuff.
Yeah.
So otherwise there's no really, you are just stopping there just on a road trip kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to be staying there long.
Exactly. Okay, so then after gas was shopping. So in the first vlog we were prepping for our trip and we went shopping in Kmart and Bunnings. So I can leave a list here of everything that we bought and paid for. So we bought an air mattress for $20. We bought a pump to blow the air mattress up for $25. We got 3 pots that we bought for $19. But we wish we'd have spent maybe a bit more to get like one good pan and pot, because the ones we bought we threw away because they were from Kmart, really cheap, and just
yeah, they just got fucked.
Bought a picnic set which had all our knives and forks and plates in there. We bought beach towels for $16. A picnic set was $17. And we bought a sunshade which was decent.
Yeah, I just needed that for the car really, and to help with the sort of privacy when we're sleeping in the car.
Yeah, we only shielded the front of it and it was $6.50, but then you were able to, when we were driving off at like 10 AM the next day, we'd get in the seats and then it wouldn't be like boiling hot, so that was good. We bought a snorkel set for $22 and that got us one each. We got plastic mugs for $2. We got my noodle inflatable because I'm not a great swimmer for $2. We got lighter for $3.55. Did we even use that?
No, we didn't need it.
Oh, okay. Well,
there was some like the gas stove.
Oh, right. It's got a thing on it. We got barbecue fuel for $6. We got camp chairs for $12. And yeah, we just got cheap camp chairs, and to be honest, they were fine. We got 4 cans of fuel, and then we only really used some of 1 can on that 12 days. So they last a while. I got a thermal flask for $14 to have my coffee in and like just be on the road with it, and that kept my coffee hot for like the whole day. We got a gas stove for $25 from Bunnings. Got a power cable for $50, which, like we said, probably didn't even need in the end.
Well, we did.
We did use it. I think that was it for all the shopping stuff. But yeah, shopping came to $240. There wasn't really much in that to really save, so.
Well, if we had hired a camper van, we wouldn't have bought
that would have
an
come
airbed
with
and shit like that.
Yeah. Groceries only came to $164, and obviously if we'd spent less out on restaurants and cafes and stuff and bakeries, then we probably would have spent more on groceries, but because we spent so much on eating out, we ended up spending less on groceries. I reckon if we spent double the amount on groceries, so if we spent like $300 on groceries, we probably would have ended up spending like more like $500 on eating out instead. But we made 4 stops for groceries. We stopped in Geraldton. We got like eggs for the morning, but as soon as we'd thrown away our pans, it was a one-time use thing. And we got like some baguette with falafel and chicken. Geraldton had a Coles, so we went there. So most of the smaller towns have IGAs, they don't have Coles or Woolworths. So Kalbarri, we just got tuna sandwiches for the Kennedy Ranges. Carnarvon, we got pain au chocolat and breakfast bars in the Woolies. And then in Exmouth we went to IGA and got some freezer food. And we used the camp kitchen to cook in the ovens, which was pretty good.
It's probably good to mention as well that the food we did buy, we couldn't really keep for that long because we didn't really have a cool fridge in the car, or probably would have been worth taking my esky box, but then it's just having the space because we were having the airbed in the back of the car.
Yeah, like you said that you would have liked to have a roof box, but we used.
I wanted to use the sunroof
to look up
just
stars.
Yeah, just look out. But other than that, yeah, we would have probably I would have packed it if we weren't sleeping in the back. And actually, because of the ants.
Yeah.
I thought we don't want to keep food in the car, but
exactly.
The ants are now gone.
Next was drinks, which when we looked at our calculations it was like $39, but we actually probably spent around $200 because we just put the cost of the meal in food.
It's drinking. This is just alcohol.
It's just alcohol, so I reckon we spent about $200 on alcohol in those 12 days. So we got a bottle of wine for my birthday meal, and then we got a bottle of wine for your birthday meal. We got a 6-pack of beers in Monkey Mire and a 6-pack of beers in Coral Bay, or 4-pack, and then I got some like ciders in Monkey Mire, and then
we had a drink each before dinner on your birthday.
Yeah, and then like a couple of times where we had a meal, we just had like a cider or a beer. Like I said, I probably spent way more money on the East Coast on alcohol because you just drink. I drank 23 out of the 28 nights I was on the East Coast.
Because we've got to drive as well, and we wanted to get up early and do things rather than just.
Jurien Bay, after my birthday, I was actually so hungover in the car, which is probably why when we got to Geraldton I was a bit like in a weird mood because I was a bit hungover.
Oh yeah.
It was actually starting to annoy me.
Monkey
Mire as well was also. I was trying to film an ending to the Monkey Mire vlog and I was like, I'm so hungover, I can't be asked for this. We have a few more things left to see in this area, so we're currently in Monkey Maya. I hate vlogging so much. I'm not doing this anymore, guys. I've decided to quit. I'm selling all my equipment, so if you'd like to buy it, please see the link below in the description. I'll be doing it for 25% off. It just goes to show that the 2 times that I remember feeling shit on our trip was because of alcohol.
Drinking, yeah.
And like, was it worth it? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it depends.
Still would have had a good time.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
Enjoy drinking with like a meal and.
Okay, so and then after that, the only other cost we have on here is sightseeing. One thing to say about this is before we went, I was researching, and you need to get apparently like a pass for all the national parks, and you can pay for every national park. So when you get there, some of them have like
a ticket office.
Some of them have like a ticket office where you can pay your entry fee, usually about $15, or you can be really organised and get a park pass for a certain amount of days. So I got us a 2-week one which cost $40, but nobody checked it. I don't know if we would have got a fine or something if we didn't. You could, I guess, not get one, but like pay your dues and just buy the national park fee. It was only $40 for that pass for, I don't know, I think we went probably in like 5 or 6 national parks where it was
yeah, so it worked
needed.
out cheaper.
Yeah, so definitely worth doing. It is peak season and they weren't really checking it, they just didn't have rangers there, I guess. So yeah, anyway. And then the other thing, the other sightseeing cost, the last thing on our list, the Monkey Maya fee. Monkey Maya...
Like because it's like a reserve fee thing, isn't it?
Mm. So what's that fee for, James?
So we're paying money to feed the wild dolphins. I mean, can you even call them wild if we're paying for their food?
No, I don't understand.
Yeah, they're wild. They go in, they go to the supermarket. Because what is it like? An actual, it's not a national park, but
it's a fee for upkeep of, it's like a levy. It's like a levy.
Yeah, it's like a fee for basically feeding wild dolphins, and it's like, well, are they even wild if you're feeding them? But yeah, I think it's just for the upkeep of that.
It's $15 for
when
24
you drive
hours
in,
each per person.
There's only like the actual campsite. You get in there during like the day when people are working. There's someone actually there.
Yeah, basically when we
you
arrived, we were like, do we actually need to pay this fee? Because we asked the reception, they were like, yeah, you can pay it online, and it didn't sound like they were going to check it. But then we went to Denham the next day and went in for like his birthday brekkie, and we got back and there was like a queue of cars, and there was a guy like checking tickets / you were able to buy them from him, so we ended up paying $30 for 24 hours each.
Because then he gave you the slip, it's like, oh, you take this when you go and, you know, go to the dolphin feed in the morning.
Yeah, which
we didn't even end up doing, but
no.
I don't know, I'm not too bothered about that.
No.
We could see dolphins from our room.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if alcohol played a part in that as well, or just the fact it was the end of the trip, because I might have been more enthusiastic, but I just...
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that was how much we spent on our trip. So as you can see, we probably could have spent less if we tried, but you know, when you're just enjoying yourself.
I mean, how does that compare to your west coast, east coast?
So, I know from my East Coast trip, I booked through Welcome to Travel, who I was working for in Melbourne, and what I paid for all my tours, accommodation and bus pass was, I think, $4,500 for... It's not a true reflection, because I sorted like my week in Gilligan's accommodation, a few things like Fraser Island as well, my friend booked for me, so I would say like 3 weeks cost me $4,500 Aussie dollars, and then on top of that I paid for all my food and drinks, so I probably spent like 7,000 or 8,000 Aussie dollars.
And where was that from and to? From
Cairns to Sydney over 28 days. Yeah, that's a lot of money. So I think the West Coast is obviously cheaper, but you've got your vehicle. If we'd had to rent a camper van or, you know, pay for a tour, it would have been similarly priced, but we were able to do it cheaper because of his car. And now you need new wheels.
And I suppose, like, I had to buy that car, so that's already a cost in a way.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I, you know, have that car to use every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and my tyres are a bit...
fucked from the Kennedy Ranges now.
Nah, they were getting...
worn down.
So.
Yeah, so basically, I'm just thinking back to the kind of people I used to talk to at Welcome to Travel, who I used to sit with, who were interested in travelling the West Coast. It was usually couples, so you know, it is a very coupley thing to do, I think. But also, one of my colleagues, Lotta, she did the trip as part of a tour. Looked like she had a really good time. I can maybe put the cost of that here for a comparison. Like I say, like probably the cost that we spent on accommodation that like extra $1,200, you'll probably end up spending that on your camper hire, and then some.
What I'd probably say is the best thing to do, like if it was in your budget, is to get a 4-wheel drive and invest in like a rooftop tent or something, and then just kind of like do the west like that, and then you can even do the east with that.
Yeah, because some people buy camper vans, but if you're out in Australia and you're thinking, I want a vehicle, and then you're torn between getting a car or a camper because you want to travel around Australia in it, you could just get the car because it's more economical.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to use it to get to work, or you wanted to use it to like just general day-to-day life, you could get a car and then you get the rooftop tent, or some people are using swags as well if that's your type of thing, or you can just sleep in the car. So
that's another thing when I bought my car, because I got back to Perth and knew I needed to get a car, and then when I was looking at what to buy, you know, I thought I'd spend a few extra grand and get something a bit bigger, like a 4-wheel drive, so I can do trips like this in it.
Yeah.
So I kind of had that thought when I was buying a car initially, because I was going to buy a car regardless.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad I made that decision.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that decision. So yeah, that was how much we spent, and now I have a budget of like $11,000 for Asia, and to last me for Christmas when I'm back, before I get a job. So that's my next challenge, is making that last and not being too wild with my money over in Asia. I will do probably a video of how much those trips cost me as well, in case it's interesting or useful for you. Yeah, and I was just like reviewing how much things cost as well, because you can kind of use it as a guide for the future as well. So yeah, thanks for joining. Barney's fallen asleep on me, this dog we're looking after.
That's it.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy your West Coast trip and that you found some of our tips useful when planning your trip. Let me know down below in the comments if you are travelling, and if you've got any questions about travelling Australia, travelling the West, travelling the East. I've done the things that I mentioned in this video, so happy to answer any questions. And for James, if you've got any questions about car purchases or whatever, then yeah. That's his area of expertise.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, thanks for joining. James will see you in the next video at some point, and I'll see you in my next video next week. Bye! So I like to animate to do with me. Bye! 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 That's working on that. I'm tired. He's about to bite you. Oh! Barney Warney.